Good morning and happy Saturday. It's a little before 7 o'clock. As you can see, the sun is just starting to come up and I have kind of a lot I want to do this weekend. Obviously the normal stuff, my workouts, getting over to see Freddie, but I also really need to do like some cleaning around the apartment. I need to get to the grocery store. I'm behind on laundry. I have some packages I need to mail. Freddie really needs to get a bath. So I thought I would start off this video with like a little weekend reset, kind of getting all of these things done, seeing what I can check off my list this weekend, and then going into Monday morning, I have my appointment with my naturopath to go over all of my new gut test results. So that would be nice to feel like sort of well organized and prepared going into Monday morning. And also it's gotten very hot again here, and the last couple of days have been like 90 degrees. Today is supposed to be kind of the same, another really hot and humid day before it's supposed to get a lot nicer tomorrow and into next week. So I also thought this would be a really good day to hopefully get a bunch of that stuff done, since I'm probably not going to want to like be outside too much, and then can kind of enjoy that tomorrow when it gets a lot cooler. So first things first, gonna get out for some morning sunlight, gonna get hydrated, get down to the gym, get a little workout in, a little active recovery today because I did upper body workout yesterday. So just gonna go get moving this morning, then I'll do the barn and Freddie's routine, and then get on with this weekend reset. Last night I wasn't feeling super great. I was starting to get like a little bit of a scratchy throat and I just was really tired, ended up going to bed early, but I woke up this morning feeling like I slept well and feeling a lot better. So I'm glad to see that my Oura ring agrees and that whatever was going on last night, I seem to have slept it off. I just made coffee this morning, and I guess step one of this weekend cleaning reset routine is going to be cleaning out the coffee maker. I don't actually have a drip coffee maker at home, but when I have used these in the past or when I use them, I like to periodically clean them out with some vinegar and water. It helps remove any like mineral buildup from the water so it doesn't clog the water tank, and it can also get out like any old stale coffee smells. Basically gonna like fill this up half water, half vinegar and run it, and then it will be good to go. All right, I just got over to the barn and oh my God, it's already so hot and humid today. It's also kind of hazy, like it almost feels overcast or something, but like it's pretty clear skies. Anyway, it'll be a good day to give Freddie a bath, maybe do a little bit of a shorter ride today just to stay out of the heat and cool her off and get her nice and clean. And thankfully tomorrow it's supposed to be like, I think almost 20 degrees cooler. I don't know if that means there's gonna be storms tonight or something. I'm gonna check my weather app, see what's supposed to happen, because it's so like, it's very still. There's not even like a breeze right now. Given how hot and humid it is, if it's going to be that much cooler tomorrow, I feel like there must be something coming. Oh, severe storm risk. Okay, that makes sense. Looks like not until later today or tonight though. Okay, so should have plenty of time to ride Freddie, get her a bath, and then get out of the heat. got back from the barn, took a much needed shower. I'm going to make some lunch, but before I do that, I'm going to get a couple of quick cleaning tasks checked off my list. I'm just going to clean off the dining room table and get some laundry started. And then this afternoon, planning to run to the grocery store and hopefully do a bunch of other sort of tidying up, cleaning tasks around the apartment. Okay, got back from the grocery store, got everything unpacked, got another load of laundry in. Sorry if the dryer noise is loud in the background. Now I really need to vacuum, which is something that I've been putting off, and it will become clear why in a moment. Vacuuming is actually something I don't mind doing. Usually when I'm at home, I feel like I vacuum all the time, just especially my entryway and kitchen area. I feel like doing a quick vacuum in those areas just makes everything feel really nice and clean. And I don't know, I guess vacuuming has always been a cleaning task that I don't mind so much. I feel like even when I was a kid and my sister and I had to choose which cleaning tasks we were gonna help with, I always liked to be the one that got to vacuum. Anyway, the vacuum that was provided in this apartment, which you can see here, I mean, I'm grateful that they have a vacuum here for me to use. That's really nice, obviously, but it's pretty big and clunky, so it's kind of hard to maneuver. But mostly the reason why I don't like using it is because it is extremely loud, painfully loud. I just don't even want to be in the same room with it while I'm using it. I feel like I must be disturbing my neighbors. So now instead of something that I would do regularly, just stay on top of it, it has become the thing that I put off. I'll show you briefly how loud it is, but I won't subject you to the horrible noise for too long. Okay, prepare for some noise. little after 7 o'clock now. Laundry is put away, dishwasher is running. I feel like I really got a lot done today and the apartment feels nice and clean. The only thing I didn't get to was cleaning the bathroom, but that will have to wait till tomorrow because I'm definitely ready to start winding down and get ready for bed at this point. As much as I do miss like having my own stuff at home, it is way easier to unload the dishwasher when there's only like 6 plates and 6 bowls and 6 cups. Well, it is still raining. It's not like pouring rain, but it's raining hard enough that I wouldn't really want to ride in this. So I'm thinking what I might do is go over to the barn, just groom Freddie, kind of do the routine without riding her. It is supposed to stop raining early afternoon, and then I might just go back later and just hop on and do her walk this afternoon. And if I get over there and I groom her and it has stopped raining, or it's just like light enough that it wouldn't be so bad to ride in, I can just do it now. But I definitely didn't realize it was supposed to rain all morning like this. Let's just hope Freddie didn't like roll in the mud right after I gave her a bath yesterday. Okay, I'm back at the apartment. It's still raining a little bit, but I do think it's supposed to stop soon, and I will probably go back over to the barn later this afternoon and get Freddie out for her walk. But right now I'm gonna take a few minutes to do a quick clean of the bathroom. It's the one thing I didn't get to yesterday. Not exactly my favorite cleaning task, but I really just need to kind of like rinse out the shower and like wipe down the countertops and everything. And I realize it's only gonna take me like maybe 10 minutes, so I'm just gonna get it done. All right, it's about 2:30 now. I think the rain has finally stopped. It kind of just kept going and going, and my weather app kept saying it was like later and later that it was gonna stop, but it looks like it's cleared up a bit. It's still a little bit chilly out and obviously kind of damp, but I think it will be nice to get Freddie out for a little bit of a walk, get her out of her stall, get her moving a little bit, and hopefully not get rained on. Okay, well, something sort of crazy just happened. It's Sunday evening. It's about 7:30 now. Just watching some Netflix when the fire alarm went off, but just in my unit, like not the whole building or anything. And actually, last night, one of the smoke detectors kind of chirped. It wasn't like the constant chirp of like the batteries dying. It chirped like 3 times and then it did nothing for like 2 hours. And then it chirped again 3 times and then nothing happened. And I did a little Googling, was able to just like reset or like press the test button, and then it seemed to reset because it had like a red flashing light and then it went back to the green light or whatever. So I thought maybe that was just like a weird thing that happened and everything was fine. And then now, just a few minutes ago, the whole alarm went off and it was terrifying. And then it stopped and then it went off again and then it stopped. So I had to call the emergency maintenance line because it's like a Sunday night. Like, why does it always happen at the most inconvenient time? I mean, I guess it's not 2 a.m, so that's nice. But the on-call maintenance person now has to come over and I think like replace the smoke detector because I think it's actually like dying. It's not a battery issue. Anyway, not exactly the relaxing Sunday night I was going for, but what are you gonna do? At least it's not gonna go off now in the middle of the night, or it better not. Good morning, happy Monday. It is now just about 10 o'clock, which means I am hopping on my appointment with my doctor to go over all my gut test results. Super curious to see what those look like because I have not seen the results yet. Also, quick update on the smoke alarm situation from last night. Thankfully, the on-call maintenance person was able to come over right away. He was here in like 20 minutes and then just had to swap out with the new smoke detector, and that took another like maybe 20 minutes, and then everything was fine. But it did go off a few more times like while he was setting it up, and it's just so loud and kind of anxiety producing. Like, it took me a while to sort of calm back down after all of that, but I'm just glad it was done early enough in the evening that it wasn't like super late at night or obviously in the middle of the night or anything. So fingers crossed that now that that one's fixed, that none of the other ones have an issue.
Megan!
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's look at these. Here's the GI map results first. No major issues in terms of pathogenic bugs. There was some H. pylori, but it wasn't didn't cross that threshold to a positive, so I would not treat that. Your commensal bacteria, this is where you'll see a little bit of difference between samples.
Okay.
But what was interesting is by and large, they kind of followed the same trends. Like your Akkermansia levels were kind of low. When it comes up low on a sample, I have not truthfully really known what to do with that yet. Part of me looks at it and is like, okay, this is probably just an effect of like this person's intake of different types of fiber, which are then going to feed different bugs in the gut. So they're saying they didn't find any Akkermansia in there, and I just find that hard to believe, right? Yeah. So I'm like, I'm sure there was probably some in there, but I'm still kind of reviewing the literature and the research, and I kind of do an updated lit review to see if there's any sort of prebiotic substances that can feed Akkermansia more so than are traditionally known prebiotics. I don't know if it's a cause or effect here. Like, is it a result of other stuff going on? Opportunistic bugs, you had some bacillus, you had some strep come up high. I feel like this comes up high on everybody's. You had a little bit of Methanobacteriaceae coming up, like close to the threshold, but not crossing it. These are the bugs that sometimes people will sort of associate with like SIBO, but again, neither of them are elevated for you. None of these autoimmune inflammatory bugs were present, was not finding any fungi or yeast. Parasites were curious because I'm pretty confident on the doctor's data one, which we'll get to in a second, nothing was found there. When they find something like Indolamax nana, like people rarely treat it unless someone's coming in with like a raging case. Your secretory IgA, like sort of that protective part of your immune system, like protecting all of your mucosa, is on the low end. And then your elastase was low on this sample. So to me, these were probably the more remarkable findings on this sample. And then if we go to this guy, not the same findings for the Akkermansia here, right? Like it's low normal, but it's not like no detectable limit. I think this will be part of the discussion of the limitations of stool testing. I just thought that was interesting. Also because yes, the bacillus showed up. Yes, the strep showed up. But you also had some staph species show up. These alone, I would not treat normally. Sometimes the bacillus species I will treat. But again, as a whole, I'm looking at that being like, it's not like crazy pants. Everything else kind of similar. Can I show you the doctor's data ones too?
Yeah.
So the H. pylori on both doctors' data were both negative. So that was encouraging. When we get to these guys, a lot of things kind of follow the same pattern. I'm not seeing a ton of variability between the two samples. To the next page, the only differences on this one is like in the Clostridia class, a little bit of a difference there. I don't know that that's like so dramatic. And then again, down here, there were just a couple of minor differences. Like interestingly enough though, and this is the part that I want to like put these next to the GI map results to compare them, because like the Streptococcus species, you know, some of those are totally normal. Those are kind of in a different range. Whereas like on the GI map, those were different. Some other similarities here, but both of them are kind of seeing low normal levels of Akkermansia again. So that is a pretty consistent finding amongst all of them. Pathogenic bacteria, these are all negative. These are all negative. That's all good. So this is the one difference between the two samples is like the Enterobacter here is 1+, and then on this other sample it's 4+. So I'm a little bit like, why is that? I don't know. With Enterobacter, like it can have the potential to cause problems, but it's not always problematic. So that is kind of interesting that those two are a little bit different. The Candida, they're finding like a little bit. So this is another difference between the GI map and doctor's data. And while it's saying it's in the 1+ range, it's still showing up. Whereas with doctor's data, it's like there was nothing showing up. Yeah. And we know Candida doesn't really show up on stool analyses that well anyway. So if it shows up at all, I'm like, oh, I am more inclined to test, like to treat it. All of these guys, which again on GI map, these were all negative. They are negative with doctor's data as well. Note though, when we get to the other protozoa, Indolamax nana is not detected on either of these samples. They're finding rare yeast on one sample and not at all on the other one, and then rare vegetable fibers on both. So little bit of like need for digestive support, which is not a huge shocker. That kind of correlates with what we've figured out.
Main takeaway and or anything you think we need to like hone in on there?
My big takeaway is that something I think is contributing to sort of decreased digestive output for you. And I don't think that's the end all be all to like what you've had going on all these years, but I think that's a pretty consistent factor. Yep. Meaning you've done like a million different therapies all over the place, and that piece hasn't really changed a lot. In terms of like, would I treat anything else? I would maybe do some more antifungal treatment for you. Yeah. Also because of like what we saw, you know, on the environmental tox with some of the elevated gliotoxin and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, let's do some more antifungal treatment. Let's do it alongside some biofilm support. Do I think those will move the needle? Well, I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's sort of like the one thing, like we haven't put you on a consistent like antifungal plan for a continuous period of time. Like we've done short rounds of it. I would definitely stick with digestive enzymes, obviously. The itraconazole, what if we could add in like a candidase, and I'm gonna have you do 1 cap with each dose of itraconazole. Once you are done with the itraconazole, if you're game to do it, prescriptions for nystatin, diflucan, and a refill of the itraconazole to kind of keep you on like a continuous loop of these guys. Okay. So, but the candidase will just have you take with whatever antifungal you're taking. And then I'll probably just, again, this is being uber protective, and because I don't think your body will reject it, I'll put like a liver support supplement. All right, cool. I think probably plan on seeing you when you get back in town.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have a good one, Megan.
Our inflammation goes up, our estrogen cycle, like that. But what would be of this kind of pattern, which is in our life, or fog, weight gain, spending the $100 and that so freely so that women can, is brought to you by Time. Do is head to timeline/Gabby yourselves. Sometimes if the messenger take care of business, the ballpark
down to the T. And I have lots of content about the beast for sure.
All right, it's a little later in the afternoon. I'm getting ready to do a Zoom personal training session in a little bit, but I wanted to do a quick recap from my doctor's appointment this morning and kind of summarize what we found on those gut tests and what we are doing next. So for better or for worse, between all 4 of those gut tests, there was not a lot that showed up, at least not a lot that was super concerning or necessarily something we feel like we need to treat right now. The good news was that for the most part, both within the one company, like 2 tests from one company and the 2 tests from the other company, the results were pretty similar, not only across all 4 tests, but specifically like the 2 test kits from one company were pretty similar like within the company, and same with the other one. There were a couple little discrepancies that we talked about in our session today, but they were fairly minor. I think it just kind of reiterates like the whole idea with these tests that you do kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt, because it is just kind of a snapshot in time, or like anytime you're doing a blood test or these gut tests or whatever, there are so many factors that could be affecting things on that particular day or that particular sample that you're sending in. And while it's nice to know that the results were pretty consistent across all 4 test kits, we're not necessarily questioning the validity of the tests. But I think especially when nothing is like glaringly obvious on these, at least for me, we're not necessarily going to take something kind of small, like one particular thing they tested for that is a little bit out of range, and like freak out about it. And especially because we do have so much other information on me over the years that we know there are other factors that are likely influencing certain parts of my gut health. So we kind of have to take it also in the bigger picture context. I think the fact that nothing in particular, no category in particular, is really highlighted for me on these test results also kind of goes back to what we've been thinking for a long time, that the fact that my gut health is somewhat compromised, or that we know I have GI symptoms, mild ones, but still very persistent for many years, that is probably secondary to other things that are going on. Like knowing that a lot of my hormone levels are low, and the heavy metal situation, like it's not surprising that my gut is going to be impacted as well. And that doesn't mean we won't keep supporting gut health and doing things to hopefully help improve, but I don't think we're expecting that like continuing to address gut health is going to be like the key factor in making me feel better or making huge changes in other areas. So I guess the short version is not a lot showed up We're not going to do anything drastic from those test results, but it was really interesting to see what it looked like doing 4 samples across 2 different companies. And then she is going to meet with her colleague that does research studies and kind of see what they can pull from that and how they might be able to present that as a research paper that be useful to other practitioners. What we are going to do in the meantime, as she explained, is do a little bit additional antifungal support, because that was the one area that kind of showed up more consistently and a little bit more obviously. I am already currently just started taking an antifungal medication based off of my environmental toxins test that we did a couple months ago. And then once I finish with that, I'm going to kind of rotate through a couple of other antifungal medications and see if doing that a little more consistently for a couple months, if I notice anything, because we have done periodic antifungal support over the years, but usually it was like a 1-month treatment of something here or there. And it's possible that just doing a little more ongoing support might be what I need to kind of like break through that issue a little bit more. So I've been on this antifungal medication for, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 days now. Haven't really noticed anything, like nothing negative. I haven't felt like I've had any kind of reaction to it. But it'll be interesting to see, like finishing that one, kind of rotating through a few more of these over the next few months, if there's anything noticeable that happens. Also, I just have to share, because this antifungal medication, it's like neon blue. I put it in this jar because the bottle that they gave me was so hard to get open. But when I first saw these, I was like, what is this stuff? This seems crazy. But I guess that's just what it is. So we'll continue with the antifungal, and then there's also just a couple of supplements that I will add in with those to help kind of support what those things are doing. So I'm just going to place an order for those supplements now. We'll add those in as soon as I get them and kind of go from there. So a little bit uneventful, but it was definitely an interesting experiment, and maybe I'll have to do it again sometime and see if anything different shows up. But I think I'm going to end off this video here. If you want to keep following along, you can subscribe down below or like this video. And thank you very much, as always, for watching, and I will see you next week.